All right. So I think we're going to get started, everyone. Again, for those of you that I don't know, and I'm looking at the list of names here, and I see so many friends that I wish I could see in person, talk to in person. But it's good to have you here. I'm Adam Pearl. I'm President and CEO of ArtPride, and we're welcoming you to our weekly COVID-19 webinar. We truly appreciate you being with us this morning. And I'm excited about today, a little bit different, something for all of us. So a little housekeeping at the beginning, and then I'll throw you over to Anne-Marie Miller, our Director of Advocacy and Public Policy, with us as always. For those of you that are new to our webinar, just want to point out that at the bottom of your screen, you have a few options to interact with our speaker and with Anne-Marie and myself today. You have the Q&A feature where you can actually post a question that we can either answer in that box or tell you that we're going to ask live so that everybody can hear the answer. There's also the chat feature where you can talk to each other or say something to the whole group. And there's also, I believe, an ability for you to raise your hand if you feel so inclined to speak. And we'll do our best to get to folks who do that as well. So without any further ado, I'll throw it over to Anne-Marie Miller, our Director of Public Policy and Advocacy, and we will get started. Thanks again for being with us.
Good morning, everybody. If I can get the share screen working right, we'll be in good shape. Let's see. So this is week 6, and I hope you can see the screen. I want to thank you all again for joining us. We're gonna, the screen is doing the weird thing. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So this is a day, it's Friday again. It comes fast, and quite frankly, I'm really happy it's Friday today. The big news this week, actually, if you hadn't heard, the Americans for the Arts survey of 11,000 creative workers revealed that 95% have lost some income due to the pandemic, and that 2/3 of the respondents are currently unemployed. The Artist Relief Fund, that's the national fund that has been addressing with the need with some grants, had 51,000 applications, and they were able to make 2,000 grants. So the big news this week is the pandemic unemployment assistance program starting to get into gear. Here is some information from the Department of Labor site. There is a need for claimants to actually be able to update their benefits every week. I don't know how quickly any of this is going to be handled. There are frequently asked questions at the New Jersey Department of Labor website. You see the link at the bottom, so please consult that. There are also pop-ups on that site that tell you how to certify for weekly benefits and how to submit an unemployment claim if you've not yet done that. As an independent contractor, you do have to be declared ineligible for unemployment to be able to be eligible for the pandemic assistance, unemployment assistance program. So there is information there on the Department of Labor website. You know, when we thought about doing this in terms of focusing on arts and health, didn't even realize that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So there was, as part of Americans for the Arts Digital Arts Action Summit that I think ends today, there was a session on arts and health, and I stole this slide from their presentation that outlines some of the benefits that we know come from engaging in the arts. And so they are listed here. Many arts groups have been involved during the current COVID crisis, dealing with helping the frontline workers. I know our theater groups have been making masks and actually at George Street has been working with a 3D printer to make face shields and also gowns. Um, Arts Ed New Jersey has been involved in distance learning for the arts, through the arts. Matheny Arts Access Program deals with arts and health as part of their mission. The Northern New Jersey Community Foundation is starting a daily arts dose program featuring 14 artists that will start, I believe, on Monday to help relieve boredom, daily artists, and to showcase some creativity. Newark Symphony Hall actually has a program that they're working on called Embrace Newark that's going to be working to help supply food within Newark and tied to the arts with presentations happening. And what you might not also know is that a stagehand over at Newark Symphony Hall found thousands of face masks that were left there as post 9/11 and made sure that they got to the frontline support staff in the city of Newark. And the Montclair Art Museum art truck has been working with Tony's Kitchen in Montclair to help deliver food for everyone who needs them, and we know that's been an increasing need. ArtPride's going to be doing an arts and health COVID video as part of Art Matters, the Art Matters website. You probably know that there's a carousel of videos on that website, and this is the co-sponsored project with the State Arts Council that highlights the public value of the arts. So we would love to know what your organization is doing that relates to arts and health, specifically during the COVID crisis. And next week, there will be some reach out from the ArtPride staff asking for that information. So please respond to that when you get that. The only other thing, it came up in last week's webinar that I wanted to point out. I got an email this morning because there were some folks who asked questions about the .org domain registration being sold in May to a private investor. That actually was stopped. So the concerns about losing the .org domain for arts organizations is no longer a huge concern. So we got that information this morning through the Center for Nonprofits, and we're very grateful for their ongoing support. So I want to introduce Julie. Julie Sherwood, her really brief bio is up here. Actually found Julie on Facebook through a group of music therapists, and I did an outreach asking, is there anybody out there who deals with trauma and might be interested in working with us? And Julie responded, and I was so happy that she did that, and we had a conversation afterwards. And she can, I'm going to turn it over to her right now and thank her so much for being willing to do this today and offering us not only information, but an opportunity to sort of like tone down and get ourselves in the right gear for what looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend coming up. So Julie, thank you. And I'm going to pull myself off the video for now and turn it over to you.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate having been invited and having the opportunity to come in and talk a bit about how I can be of service to the various arts organizations that are here and the different artists that you represent. So when Anne Marie and I first talked, one of the things we discussed was how practicing creative arts therapies might become an alternative income source for some of the nonprofit arts groups. So the first thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was the requirements to practice creative arts therapies in medical and psychiatric settings. I think she was particularly interested in how we might be able to support healthcare workers right now, possibly get programs into hospitals, either medical or psychiatric hospitals, and really support some of those frontline workers. Anne Marie made me this beautiful slide, and if you can pop that one up now if you like. It gives you some resources if you want to follow up with them to see what the requirements are to actually become credentialed creative arts therapists. And I just wanted to share a little bit that the hospitals typically hire licensed and credentialed therapists because of the nature of the work. We really need to understand the diagnoses that we're working with, and we really need to have that significant level of training and licensure. Onboarding with hospitals is usually a very long process that involves a lot of background checking, a lot of training in protocols and procedures, which of course are even more strict right now. So I wanted to share that I think reaching out to hospitals at the moment to try to start new arts and health programs is probably not going to be a very effective approach. I think they're overwhelmed. I'm actually an employee at the hospital where I work, and I got furloughed because we're trying to minimize the number of people who come in and out of the building, even though I was a valued employee and my services were valued. We're not allowing visitors in for the most part, so we're not allowing any personnel that isn't deemed essential. So starting new programs, of course, also takes a lot of time and energy on the part of the administrators at the hospital, and they don't really have that option right now. That said, I'll tell you briefly while we're on this slide, the requirements for music therapy, which is my area, are a degree in music therapy, either a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. Once we've completed the degree, we do a 1,200-hour internship in an approved clinical site. There are very specific approved sites across the country for internships. We have to be supervised by another board certified music therapist. Once we've completed the degree and the internship hours, we can sit for a board exam. And if we pass the board exam, then we get that MTBC credential that you saw on my name on the other slide, and that's music therapist board certified. Requirements in each of the different modalities vary a little bit, but every modality requires a degree specifically in the therapy, not just in the art. So, and the other three require master's level entry into the field. Music therapists can still enter the field with a bachelor's degree in music therapy, but for the most part here in the East, to be competitive for jobs, most people are looking for a master's level music therapist. So you can learn about the specific requirements if it's something that interests you, or you think you have artists you're working with that might actually be interested in becoming creative arts therapists. But it's not going to be a great option in the immediate moment to try to move into that field, because of the degree requirement, it's going to really require a significant investment of time and money before there's any return. It's also not a particularly stable field in terms of work and income. So, but the options are there if you're interested in looking into how the processes are regulated and what the requirements are. And each of those websites will show you which schools provide the degrees that are required. So moving on from that, what I think you can do if you're looking to develop some new arts and health programs, or maybe expand ones that you already have in place right now, is to reach out to your surrounding communities. Anne-Marie had that lovely slide earlier that gave that list of the benefits of arts and health. So I will speak specifically to music first. We know that playing instruments produces endorphins and dopamine. It moves the brain waves into an alpha state, which is a relaxed but alert state. So that's really where we want to be when we're trying to de-stress. So any programs that encourage people to play music, that encourage people to move and dance, that encourage them to tap into their inner creative self to make art, any of these programs could be really beneficial to your communities, and everybody is feeling stress right now. So what I think could be very beneficial is facilitating groups like parent-child music making groups. These things can be done on Zoom for now, and then they can be moved out into the community when we're able to come back together in person. So I think just facilitating a connection amongst people right now is really important. I know I've done a few Zoom drum circles, which is a little tricky from a sound standpoint, because you pretty much have to mute all but one person. But when you see everybody's hands moving and their heads bopping in sync with each other, it's amazing how deeply you feel that sense of connection, even though you're not in the same room together. So I think the power that artists have right now is to help people feel a connection to each other through music making, dancing, moving, drama, all of those different areas, I think with a little creativity, you can come up with a lot of classes, workshops, activities that can help people feel that social connection. And I think just tapping into our creative self is inherently healing. So just encouraging a person to sit down and make art, even if they have to do it by themselves. But if they can look on the screen in the gallery view and see other people working on the same project they are, they get that sense of connection. So I think there are endless possibilities in terms of gathering people together, playing theater games together, learning improv skills together, making music together. So I would really encourage the various groups to look at that sort of thing, because your communities definitely would benefit from the stress relief, definitely would benefit from that sense of connection. I really think the family bonding, I'm seeing a lot of that in some of the forums that I follow, you know, parent-child dancing, parent-child music making, that kind of process I think is really nice right now, because parents have kids at home that need activities and we're all stressed, and it's nice to have positive experiences together, and also with our neighbors, positive experiences together. And I think that it benefits your arts organization because it makes your outside community feel like a part of your organization. They've shared these experiences with you. They have a feeling of having bonded with you, a sense of loyalty to you. And when you can get back out there and start performing again, they're going to be there. They're going to want to be in the seats and see the performances. So I think it's a wonderful way to forge those connections, keep your organization strong, keep your relationship with your community strong, and really offer them the kind of stress relief and just fun that they need. I mean, really, we just need some joy. I love that Anne-Marie talked about boredom. One of these projects is just to stop boredom. That's important. Just to do something fun is important. It may not be on the level of deep and therapeutic, but we need joy in our lives right now. We need to feel connected to each other right now. And that's definitely something that you can find a way to facilitate with your followers at this point. So
Julie,
yes.
Julie, I'm going to give you a chance to take a deep breath before we get into the next part of it, and just see if there's anybody that has any questions out there for you. So if you have something to drink, any water there for yourself. We didn't plan a Q&A session, but you know, at the same time, poor Julie's been talking a lot. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them into Q&A, and we'll address them. And I apologize if my screen sharing is a little slow. Sometimes the computer takes a while to come up. All right, I don't see any Q&As, so I just figured I'd give you a chance to take a deep breath.
Thanks. It's a short amount of time to cram in a lot of information. So yeah, I'm happy to stop and answer any questions that might have come up along the way. I'm also happy if there are organizations that are working on programming now, or maybe you already have some programs and you're trying to figure out how to make them virtual. I'm happy to do some consulting. I know my whole field has been figuring out how to move our music therapy sessions online and coming up with some really creative solutions. So feel free to reach out to me at another time if you don't have questions right now, and I'm happy to try to help with some of that. How do you connect with mental health social services that might hire arts organizations or artists? So Karen, I think the answer to that question is that most mental health services are going to want to work with therapists at this point. You know, we all have training in psychology and psychotherapy and really knowing how to work with significant mental health diagnoses. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't want to say for sure that they wouldn't work with arts organizations, obviously, but in terms of connecting with them right now, I know they're really overwhelmed. You know, I don't think they're probably going to bring in any new programming at the moment. It might be possible to, what arts field are you in? Are you music, art? Whatever your area is, it might be possible to reach out to the creative arts therapy community in that area and see if they have, like if yours is a theater company, for example, it might be possible to reach out to the Drama Therapy Association in the area and see if they could use some help from actors in addition to drama therapists. That would be my first suggestion, is if you find programs that are already in place where mental health organizations are using therapists, creative arts therapists who hold the master's degree in the therapy field, they may be able to pull some artists in to help them with the programs that they already have in place. But for the most part, mental health programs are really looking to work with the licensed mental health professionals. Kevin Carey Press, distributing free books of poetry. Oh, that's lovely. To hospitals to place in their medical staff's break rooms. The hospitals are very delighted to get the books and share them with their frontline nurses and doctors. That's a beautiful idea. That's a wonderful way to provide support that's easy for them to accept and implement and share. I love that. That's great. Karen, I hope that answers your question. If you have more, please feel free to add it in the chat, or you can email me and we can talk further. Yes, good. All right.
Okay, so I think we're ready to move to the next part as soon as my screen, let's see, as soon as my computer decides to respond to the next slide. Sometimes a little slow in Zoom. I'm not sure why. I think it just gets stuck. So
yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I wanted to talk just a little bit about this before we dive into a relaxation experience anyway.
okay.
So in asking myself how I could be of service to you this morning, the second piece I really wanted to share was that I wanted to be able to provide you all with some emotional support and some stress relief, and just say that this crisis that we're all going through really is a collective trauma. And people have a broad array of responses to it. It's, we're all trying to figure out how to do our jobs differently. We're all trying to figure out what it means to be home so much. We may be losing loved ones, or just feeling the weight of how many people are losing loved ones. So there's a lot happening right now. Self-care is really important. The first thing I want to say is, if you're artists, your creative expression and your arts are your best form of self-care. Making art, making music, enjoying those things when you can. And also giving yourself permission to not enjoy those things if they don't always feel enjoyable. Maybe they feel stressful, but for a lot of us, they can be a resource for self-care. So, don't forget about that piece. The other piece is that I have really been trying to step up my offerings to the community around me, and I would like to offer to any of you who are interested. I have done some drum circles online. I have been doing some relaxation groups online, and I also have been doing what I call the 2-minute turnaround series. And that is a workshop that teaches a few very simple, very short self-care techniques that can take you from feeling anxious and stressed to feeling more calm really quickly. It gives you a couple of very simple tools to use that can stick with you for life, that you can teach to other people. And then we usually close those groups by having a relaxation session together. So if that's of interest to anyone personally, or that you think it's something that you might like to offer to the followers in your organization, again, you can just email me and reach out about that, and we can talk further. So I want to teach you one of those techniques right now. I'm actually going to end up teaching you two by the time we dive into this relaxation experience. So the first thing I want to teach you is a really simple eye movement. What's effective about this is that our eye muscles are connected to our cranial nerves. And you've probably heard a lot about the vagus nerve being an important cranial nerve. So that vagus nerve really regulates our nervous system. So when we're feeling anxious and stressed, that sensation that we have is coming from that nervous system. And when we can stimulate the vagus nerve, we can help to calm ourselves, usually very quickly. So this is a really simple technique where we keep our head straight forward and our eyes open. And we just bring both of our eyes in a horizontal line over to the edge, basically as far as they go. So if you kind of point your nose towards a wall in front of you to keep your head steady, I'm going to invite you just very gently, first of all, just bring your head back and forth a little and feel your neck. So this is also going to relax your neck muscles once we do the eye movement. So don't push, you're not really even trying to stress, you just want to assess. Do you have tension in your neck muscles or your shoulder muscles? Do you have a little pain? Do you hit a spot where some pain kicks in? And just stop if you do. Don't push anything. We just kind of want to check in with the body and see how it's feeling. So then once you've done that, we're going to do the eye movement. And it's just as simple as I said before. So keep the nose towards the wall so your head is straight forward. And then take both eyes and just bring them over to the right and just hold. So just hold them while I'm talking, and I'll tell you when to release them. You might find the first few times you do this that your eye muscles feel a little bit tired. So I'm not going to have you hold the whole time, but typically you want to do this 30 to 60 seconds. Starting out 15 is usually good. If you find your eyes wandering back to the center, just gently bring them back to the side. And soften your jaw. And oftentimes this will cause you to yawn or sigh, and that's when you know that your nervous system has just done that reset. It doesn't always happen for people the very first time they try it, but this is one of those things that the more you repeat it, the more effective it becomes, and the more easy too. So it's just another moment. You can take a deep breath while you're here. And then bring your eyes to the center and close them for a moment. For most people, that makes the eyes a little bit tired, especially if it's your first time doing something like that. And then open them again, keeping your face straight forward. You're going to go over to the left side now. So just bringing both eyes to the left, just like we did a moment ago on the other side. Softening your jaw. And breathing. And while you're here, you might as well think a happy thought. Conjure a happy memory. Think of a place you like to be. I'm going to spend more time with that in a moment. And then gently bring your eyes to the center and close them and relax them. And take a deep breath here and just sigh. And then when you feel ready, open your eyes again and just gently go side to side again with your neck. And you're going to notice that you can turn farther. If you had some pain before, maybe you can go farther before that pain kicks in. Maybe it's gone completely. Okay, so hopefully that's a technique you feel like you can replicate. I know some people get a little dizzy from that. Normally the dizziness goes away if you practice it with some more often. But if it doesn't work for you, then that's, obviously some people it works for and some people it doesn't. But it's the fastest way I know to get that gentle vagus nerve stimulation and really calm your body. The next thing I want to teach you is something that you're going to do while we have a guided relaxation experience. So this is another technique that stimulates your vagus nerve. This is vocal toning. There are a lot of different forms of vocal toning, and I'm going to teach you in the simplest way. And then you can experiment if it's something you enjoy, or if you already do a little bit of vocal toning or mantra toning, you can certainly add that in. So all we really do is take a deep breath and produce a simple hum with a closed mouth, and I'll demonstrate it for you in a moment. And our goal is not really to produce very much volume or sound necessarily, it's to feel that vibration on the inside. So in a moment when we start the process of relaxation together, I'm going to invite you to put your hand like right on your sternum so that you can really feel the vibration of your voice coming into your hand. We also have a lot of sensory nerves in our chest, and when we apply light pressure to them, it also soothes the nervous system. So we get to combine a lot of little simple things here that are just going to help your body relax and let go. So you can breathe as often as you need to breathe. It doesn't matter how long your tone can be sustained. The only thing that matters is that as soon as you get your breath, you just come back in and sustain your tone. And again, for the first time doing this, sometimes people get a little lightheaded because it really oxygenates your body well. So if you feel like you would prefer to stop after a few moments of this, we won't be doing it for very long. But if you need to stop and just breathe and just follow the guided relaxation, that's fine. But give it a try and see how it feels. About 5 minutes of vocal toning can be enough to really, really help your physical body become relaxed. So what I'm going to do here is also incorporate something that we do in music therapy and why we use live music most of the time in music therapy, which is rhythmic entrainment. So our bodies like to synchronize with the rhythm that they feel and hear around them. That's why we start to tap our toes and bop our head when we listen to music. So we can also use that process to lower our heart rate. So I'm going to provide a little bit of drumming and also a little bit of a drone sound to hold our toning. Now you're not, I will start you out toning, but of course as I'm speaking and guiding, I won't be able to tone with you. So just sustain it as you can on your side. And just let me know, please, if you can hear this when I start it. So we're just going to use this little drone sound. Thanks, Adam. Adam says yes. And then I'm going to add the drum. So start by placing your hand on your heart, right there on the sternum. And we're going to just take a deep breath. Drop your chin. You can close your eyes if that feels good to you. Dropping your chin will help to relax your throat muscles. And very gently, you're just going to breathe in and hum. And breathe as often as you need to. Just take another breath and come back in. So this is our process. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. So we're going to start by bringing awareness to that place where your hand is. So bring your awareness and start a tone. Doesn't have to be the pitch I chose either. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Just a simple, gentle hum. I'm going to start with our heartbeat. So as you tone into that space in your chest, I want you to visualize a ball of light. And as that tone enters your chest and that light comes with it, notice that it feels warm and soothing and relaxing. And as the vibration and the light and the warmth begin to expand, let that peaceful, relaxed feeling spread. You see that ball of light opening out, coming up into your chest, to the base of your throat. You can really feel that vibration in the base of your throat. And just let it warm and soothe you. Let it spread out across the tops of your shoulders. Warm and comforting. Let it spill down your arms. Feel that warmth flowing down towards your elbows, into your forearms, into your wrists, into your hands, and out through your fingertips. And now gently bring your awareness back into your chest. Finding that warm light there. And as you continue the gentle tone, allow that warmth to flow down your spine. Feel it filling your rib cage. And notice how your breath deepens and expands without any effort. As those muscles soften and relax. Your breathing just becomes effortless. And feel that warmth continue flowing down, coming down into your stomach, relaxing and releasing the stomach muscles. Feel your body soften and let go. Let that warmth just fill you with comfort. And just tone right into the stomach and let it relax. And feel that warm, soothing vibration and light as it flows down into your hips. Feel it expand into your lower back. And feel all those muscles soften and let go. And feel your breath deepen even more without even trying. As your body becomes softer, more at ease. And allow that soothing warmth to flow down into your legs. Feel it gently flowing down your thighs. Warm and soothing. Feel your legs become heavier, softer, sinking into your chair. Feeling so peaceful. Let that warmth flow on into your knees. Let it gently spill over and start to trickle down through your calves and your shins, into your ankles and your feet. And if you've taken a break from the toning, I want to invite you to come back for a moment and tone into your feet. Just bring awareness to your feet as you tone. And really feel that soothing warmth as it comes into your feet, giving you a sense of being grounded and steady. And now see that light passing out through the bottoms of your feet. And see it go deep, deep down into the floor, down into the ground, like the roots of a tree. And as these roots extend, they bring you a sense of stability and safety and peace. And just be for a moment in this space, where your body feels warm and soft and comfortable, and where you feel connected to the earth, steady and stable and rooted in a sense of calm. And let your body really take in this sensation. And make a mental note of the feeling, of the vision you have of these roots. Knowing you can reconnect to these roots anytime that you need a sense of safety and grounding and peace. And let's give one final tone. Just staying in the stillness as the music gently fades. When the music is gone, take a moment in the silence before you do anything. And just be. And take a deep breath. And let it all go.
Thank you, Julie. That was great. I am ready for the weekend.
Good.
Ready to smell the lilacs and actually it's an wedding anniversary weekend for me, so I'm looking forward to that too.
How lovely. Congratulations.
Thank you. So as we wrap up, I want to remind everyone to check the ArtPride resources. I want to let you know that there's a webinar coming up on May 20th. Please go to artpridenj.org/events on engaging audiences in the COVID era, and check our web page for resources. That it gets updated daily. And also don't forget Jersey Arts events, Jersey Arts at Home. And we've been keeping really up to date on all the information that we've been getting from folks in the field in terms of what's happening virtually. So check that out, as you'll see a really broad variety of opportunities. I really want to thank Julie for the time. I already feel like the caffeine has worn off, and I'm feeling ready to move on this weekend. So thank you so much for sharing all the information and for sharing your time and your expertise with us. And I hope that folks will reach out to Julie as a resource moving forward. And Adam, turn it to you.
No, I think you've said it all. Just want to wish everybody a healthy and safe weekend. Um, stay well and be smart, everybody. And we will continue to be in touch. And as I always say, if you have any questions, concerns, reach out to us. Anne Marie, myself, anyone on the staff. I think most of the staff is here. Jim Atkinson is running things behind the scenes. And I just want to say thank you again to the ArtPride staff and to all of our members, our board, and everyone on the call today. We will get through this, but we'll do it together. So thank you, everybody, and have a terrific weekend.